And before I turn it over to our host today, I'd like to give a little background about Ruby Sunshine Taylor. Ruby Taylor is the CEO and founder of Financial Joy School, a virtual educational platform and gaming company that empowers Black and Brown youth and their families through financial education and investment tools. A proud double HBCU alumni of Howard University and Virginia Union University, Ruby is a passionate advocate for closing the racial wealth gap and establishing financial equity. A survivor of a traumatic brain injury, Ruby identifies as a disabled Black queer woman. She's a motivational speaker, a wife, mother, daughter, aunt, sister, and friend, determined to make the world more equal, joyful, and just. Ruby has partnered with renowned financial brands, including Wells Fargo, Trust and Will, and the NASDAQ Entrepreneurial Center, and has been featured in leading publications such as The Motley Fool, Inc.com, Fast Company, Forbes, Black Enterprise, and Mashable.com. She resides in Baltimore, Maryland with her wife, Dr. Sheila Graham, and their 2 children. And at this time, I'm happy to introduce Ruby Taylor and turn it over to you.
Welcome, welcome, welcome everyone to Beyond Our Disabilities, celebrating Black disabled entrepreneurs. I have my wonderful dog here who wants to play at this moment, but I will ignore him and stay focused. I am the founder of Financial Joy School, and we are on a mission to close the racial wealth gap by helping Black and Brown youth and families build generational wealth no matter our income. I am so happy and so excited to celebrate Black History Month with you all and these dynamic founders. We have the amazing Mariah Barber. She is the founder of Invincible Strength. And then we have the dynamic Dr. Stephanie from JuneBrain, Dr. Samantha from JuneBrain, and then we have the extraordinary Dr. Stephanie from Pureatable. Yes, yes, and yes. I am a traumatic brain injury survivor, and I am a stutterer. I have two disabilities, and I never allow that to stop me. Actually, it's my superpower because like it has taught me resilience. And so we are going to lead with this first question, right? And we're going to start off with Mariah, and then we will have Stephanie, and then we will have Samantha answer the following question, which is, how did you start your company? All right. And so, Mariah, you are up. How did you start your company?
Thank you for the fabulous introduction, Ruby. I actually started Invisible Strengths because it was a resource that I needed. I actually was diagnosed with keratoconus, which is a vision disorder. And I had to go through the accommodations process on my job at the time. I worked in global health. And it was just a really cumbersome process where I had to disclose, medical information to several different layers. I had to figure out, well, what do accommodations look like for folks who have a disease progression 3 years down the line? And there weren't really answers. So a lot of the times I turned to YouTube, building community with other Black disabled folks and kind of hearing what they were going through as their process. And I decided I wanted it to be different for the people coming behind me. I had gone through kind of helping with recruitment. At the time, I was doing diversity, equity, accessibility, and inclusion trainings on the side. And I said a lot of the findings these organizations are saying is they don't have access to a diverse pipeline. They don't have the institutional knowledge about accommodations. So I said, what if there was a platform where people like me could look for jobs through their accommodations and their skills, and be matched with inclusive work environments? And from there, started Googling things like, how do you build an app? I learned about wireframes, and then fast forward to 3 years later today, we have a fully functional app. We have users that we're helping to find employment, and workplaces that we're training and building the capacity for. So it was really my own lived experience that brought me into the space of hiring and wanting to, make there be asynchronous ways for people to keep learning and growing, especially for those who are multi-marginalized. Later, when I looked into the research, I saw that we have a lot of disparities in employment for those with disabilities, especially when you're an LGBTQ member like myself, or you're a woman, or you're in the Black community, or maybe you're lucky and you're in all those Venn diagrams. So that was me and how I got started.
Thank you. Before we go on to the next founder, can you educate us about a wireframe? What is that?
Sure. A wireframe, if you're a STEM person like myself, and it sounds like other people on the panel, then you're used to seeing like graph paper. And when you're not drawing a graph on that, you could also draw a wireframe. So it's basically a frame of what a screen in your application might look like. So I'm sure it was horrendous now, but drew out my first version to then pay someone else to do it in different platforms such as like Figma. But basically, it's an outline. If you think about an application like even a LinkedIn, or any application that you use frequently, there was like kind of a black and white sketch at some point on like a grid paper to draw out how the buttons would look or how the flow would go for when users are interacting with the platform. And that first version is called a wireframe.
Thank you so much. Up next, Stephanie, let us know about your business. How did it get started?
Thank you, Ruby. And Mariah, I am also now working in tech, and I just learned wireframe. That's how uneducated I am in that, which probably makes me good at what I'm doing from my perspective, because I'll bring that expertise. But thank you for that. For anyone that's low vision or blind, I am Stephanie. I'm kind of a mid to dark skinned woman. I have a head wrap that is brown and black multicolored, glasses that are similar to the head wrap in color, gold earrings, and I'm wearing a black blazer and a cami. So my business started after reaching out to the fashion industry and just asking simple questions about them equitably providing options for people that dress with disabilities, chronic illnesses, and injuries. And I did not get a response. I wound up working with different people with disabilities at the beginning. As someone born with a disability, it's ironic. I grew up at a time where being born with disabilities wasn't referred to as having a disability, especially growing up in a home with parents that were very spiritual. And it's just like, you are healed, you don't have this. And so since my disabilities were physical, I'm like, yeah, I'm kind of still the same. So we're gonna walk through this process. And I was like, I really don't think God like walked away from the, like in designing me and left me to go do something and me end up this way. So I'm obviously this way for a reason, according to my belief.
Yes.
So I started that process, but I never wanted to start a business. I want to be very clear, just in case someone is out there and they're like, oh, these are founders. Let me be very transparent. I worked in media. I was in television and radio, and I was happy. Oh, and I did voiceovers. So I was happy. I was like doing things that I liked. But there was a problem that just never went away. And the problem was it shouldn't take people 3 hours to get dressed. People shouldn't have to go into the store, spend their money, and then spend hundreds of dollars to be tailored. Like, these are really simple problems to solve. The issue is society lives in an illusion of inclusion. And with this illusion of inclusion comes this idea that we're really equitable. But what it is we're equitable in a way that makes us feel well if we are non-disabled. And so that ableism doesn't fly for me. So I've dedicated the last 20 years of my life making sure that people with disability can dress with as much dignity and independence as possible. And just recently, I made the turn to technology because I was talking to some male founders that I knew, and they were being pessimistic as always, but that's kind of helpful for me. They're like, this will never scale. What you're doing, yeah, you're putting people on carpets in Hollywood, because I dress actors with disabilities, but they told me, they were like, it's never going to scale. And so I was like, well, I'm just going to pour my brain basically into an algorithm, and I'm going to create a widget that will allow B2B clients to make sure that their e-com is equitable. And so since AI ignores disability, I'm not going to. We are a fashion and health tech company that's making AI smarter by making it more inclusive of people with disabilities. And that's where we are right now. And I've never been more excited about anything or humbled about how much I'm learning, but I know that this is what we're supposed to do and it will be successful. And I'm excited to do it.
Amazing, amazing. We have some dynamic women founders, and I'm just so like happy to be spending this afternoon with them. Up next is the amazing Dr. Sam. Let's go, Dr. Sam. How did your company get started?
Hello, hi Ruby. It's great to be here. Especially with Stephanie, Mariah. You guys are awesome. How did it get started? So I guess with my background, I was really a total nerd. I always say that. I think I say it too much, but I was a total nerd. So my PhD is in biomedical engineering, but I always focused in ophthalmology and neuroscience. So understanding, when someone has vision loss, how does that affect their brain, and vice versa. So that has always been my happy place, is just understanding this eye-brain connection and how we can use it to better care for people. But I'd say halfway through grad school, I started getting very sick. I went from, having enough energy to just go about my day and enjoy myself to being stationed at the corner of my futon for days at a time. And it took me about 5 years to finally be diagnosed with a neuromuscular disorder called myasthenia gravis. And then 6 years later, so as of kind of the end of last year, I've now being reevaluated for a new diagnosis. They think I was misdiagnosed the first time around. So it's been a journey. And I think the greatest challenge around all of that has been monitoring what's going on with me. So throughout, over the past decade or so, my doctors have really relied heavily on me self-reporting what's going on with my body. So when I have an annual visit with my neurologist or ophthalmologist, letting them know that, hey, I've had this weird symptom happening, or calling their office to say this strange thing is happening. And they use that information to understand, what's going on and to make treatment decisions. So that is very flawed. And it's something that's prevalent across many diseases. The idea that doctors are relying on me to tell you essentially what's going on with my body instead of using objective data is not the best way to do things. And the doctors that I have are equally frustrated. On the one hand, a lot of disease happens without symptoms. So waiting until someone has symptoms can often be too late. And on the other hand, especially as a woman and a Black woman, when I share symptoms, I'm not always believed. And that has kind of been a recurring theme throughout my own health journey. So I started JuneBrain in response to all of that. So finding a way to build an accessible device. So we have a retinal imaging device that can be used in any setting, not just a clinic, so everyone can access it. And that sends objective information about your disease to a doctor. So it both supplements what you're telling the doctor, and it gives them kind of an objective look at what's going on with your body. So it's kind of a combination of my own health stuff and my eye brain nerdiness background, which I love.
Thank you, thank you, thank you, Dr. Sam. I am telling you, these are some super dope Black history makers in the future. Somebody will be celebrating them in like 25 years, right? They're gonna have a poster, a fifth grader talking about Mariah. Another one's gonna be talking about Dr. Sam, and then somebody else will be talking about Stephanie, and they will be talking about me too. And so amazing, amazing, amazing businesses from some extraordinary women. So my next question, because having a disability, being a Black woman, that's a whole lot of oppression, for lack of a better word. That's a great word, oppression. A whole lot of oppression. And so how did you grow through those difficult obstacles building your company? And so I hope you understood the question, but if you didn't, make up something. And so here we go. We're gonna go with Stephanie first, and then Samantha, and then Mariah. Let's go, Stephanie.
I think I've been given a lot of opportunity. Oh, I did understand your question.
Yes.
I have been given a lot of opportunities to grow through situations. I would have to say the most painful have been recent challenges. 2023 was just unrelenting for me. It was just lesson after lesson, since we're calling challenges lessons today, lesson after lesson after lesson after lesson. At 54, I'm a caregiver for my dad, who has onset dementia.
Wait, time out. Did you say that you was 54?
Yeah, I'll be 55 in April. So
You better shut up, Stephanie. You look, oh my God. We
Ruby,
have
I
to
thought you
talk
knew
later,
that.
but go ahead.
I
Sorry,
thought you
that
knew
just
that.
threw me off.
Oh,
That
sorry.
threw me off. Go ahead.
Well,
Sorry, I'm gonna focus.
Okay. And you're very sweet. Thank you. I only mentioned the age because at this age, you're either caring for children or you're caring for parents oftentimes. And I'm honored to do it. It's just that for me, I had this vision of myself having more finances to be able to be there for my parents in a way that if they needed anything that I would, makes me a little emotional to think about it. And so then I got sick myself, in addition to the disability. And so the lessons that I've learned through this was exactly what you shared with us prior to coming on camera, is cry through it, work through it, show up, do whatever you have to do. And something that my life coach taught me was to celebrate my wins. I don't know how the other panelists are, but when you're purpose driven or focused, you don't really celebrate yourself, or at least I don't like, oh, I did this thing. The only reason I think I have these trophies up, I needed something for my shelf. I never celebrate anything. And she was like, that's the problem. You feel like you're not accomplishing anything because you don't ever stop and see what you're doing. So the way that she's helped me process this is I have to write down every single win. Even if it's what appears to be a small win to me, it could be a meeting. She wants me to celebrate no's so that we can go back and look at how the no's have led me to other places that I would have never been. So because of the way my brain works, I have to write it down. And then she reminds me to go back and look at it when I'm feeling like I'm not doing anything. Because I think for me, the last couple of years opening Vogue, and seeing my words attributed to women that don't look like me. I don't mind people sharing if they cite my work, but that has really hurt my business, because then they have taken my words and built their businesses on it. But I'm grateful for that, because I would have never wound up in tech. I would have never wound up where I am had that not happened. So it's disappointing, but I let my nose be my guide. Long answer to a short question, but I'm so glad you asked it, because it's something that I'm still learning.
Thank you. Thank you. Dr. Sam.
That was really good. I agree with you, Stephanie, when it comes to celebrating your wins. I wholeheartedly agree. That's even something on my team that I really try to do with everyone. It's just acknowledging when someone does something, even if they think it's small in the grand scheme of things, it's like, that's like pat each other on the shoulder.
Yeah.
I agree with that. I'd say for me, how are we getting through things? How am I getting through things? For me, one of my struggles has been for a while thinking that I'm not enough. I don't have enough energy. I don't have enough, my body doesn't have enough to sustain a startup company. And what I've learned, especially over the past couple years, is that we are all enough. We are enough.
Yes.
I know, Ruby, you talk a lot about your faith. It's the same for me. I have a very strong faith in God. So knowing that I am enough and that he handles the rest of it, which he has done, I see God as my co-founder.
Yes. I like that.
So, and it happens that way. It's like, if I just do my best, and sometimes it's a no, which is totally, it's a no, it sucks at the time, but it works out in the end. Eventually there is a yes that takes me on a path, and the company on a path that is much, much better. So I'd say that's the main thing. And also just being kind to myself. I think a lot of times our self-talk is so bad. I don't know about you guys, but
Yeah.
It's like we just have to talk to ourselves like we love ourselves. And it's, we're talking about startups and being founders, but it's especially in that kind of environment, because having a startup company, it expects everything from you. So you have to be kind to yourself.
Yes, 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 yes. Mariah?
Wow, I've been going wild. For those that might be visually impaired like myself, I've been snapping, I've been clapping, all the emojis are going up because I'm resonating so much with what you two are sharing. Also, the God is my co-founder. You gotta brand that,
That's the
Dr.
brand.
Sam, and put that on a t-shirt, because that is a word right there. But I would say, for me, you were talking about being multi-marginalized. A big part of Invisible Strengths is talking about intersectionality and educating on it. I always like to say I'm a Venn baby, like in the middle of a lot of Venn diagrams, basically. And so sometimes those Venn diagrams can be like hoops that we're jumping through, right?
Yes.
So that experience actually led me to being a founder, quite literally, because I was looking for a workplace that would affirm my gender, that was going to be committed to being pro-Black, that was going to have pay equity, and that was going to honor accommodations. And that's a large, just different, I guess, requirements or supports that I needed. But I also have realized that though, you can look at it as a deficit, you can also look at it as an advantage and as a strength. And that's really where Invisible Strengths has come from. I think that there can be a beautiful perspective you have when you're sitting at the margins of society. You have the widest view. And so a lot of the things that you're doing to support yourself, or the ways that you're viewing things, are actually ushering in folks behind you. They actually are just supportive to everyone that's in the space. And I love the term that's being used a lot more, universal design. Like, we're designing for the whole universe rather than just a select group of folks. And so I've seen that as an asset. And even when it comes to folks we've hired to work on the team, we focus on hiring those that are multi-marginalized, those that do have different conditions and backgrounds that are not of my own, and that sometimes are shared, and they can actually bring to the table things that I don't consider.
Yeah.
And so that's been a beautiful piece to be able to learn and grow and cultivate community in that way. At the same time, it is really difficult work to be a founder. We can't gloss over that. I think the other two ladies that I'm honored to be on the call with have also kind of highlighted that, but the negative self-talk, the continuing to go when you come up against the brick wall, a lot of times, again, I will say, it's been our birthright as being Black women with disabilities to have to go up against a society that wasn't built for us. And so we're like, okay, that's not a no, that's a not yet. Let's figure out another workaround. And I think like a thing that's fortified me is having a community like Ruby and other folks to be able to go to and talk about how the world's kind of putting up a lot of barriers for me in that moment or in that season, and keeping each other encouraged, and also affirming ourselves. I know the other ladies have talked about spirituality has fortified me on the journey. Wouldn't be here without it. You know, believing in manifestation and being able to call things to yourself, and also being able to have a life coach, and be able to go through different accelerator programs and having mentors that share identities with me and sometimes don't, and can be an ally, have helped me along the way. But definitely try to stay prayed up and try to stay positive as much as I can. And, you know, just knowing even if things don't work out, there's just redirection.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. Thank you so much, Mariah, Dr. Sam, Stephanie, amazing. My next question is somewhat connected, right? But before I say that, let me say this because I will forget, right? Our websites have to be, they have to be accessible, right? And so whether or not you can, no matter what your like disability is, we have to make our sites accessible. There are many companies out there that can basically help you with that. One of them that I have partnered with is called Accessibility. I am not promoting them. I'm just saying they are one of the companies you can use to make your website accessible, so that everyone can enjoy it. And so my next question is, what types of programs? Okay, Laura wanted me to repeat the name. I am a stutterer, so I do repeat a lot. So Laura, you're making it rough. But anyway, I like to laugh too, right? It is called Accessibility, ACCESSIBE, Accessibility. That is the name of that like amazing company. No, ACCE, SIBE, Accessibility. Thank you, Lexi. Appreciate you. And so my next question, we cannot do this work without support, right? Whether or not it is investors, programs, accelerators, friends. Can you name me 3 helpers that is helping you on this journey? Okay, 3, whether or not it's a program, whether or not it's a friend, whether or not it is an advisor, a coach, investor, 3 major ones that is helping you get over the hump. And I will go with myself first. I have to give a big shout out to the NASDAQ Entrepreneurial Center, the Milestone Circle. They have a great circle for women entrepreneurs. entrepreneurs, a great program. The next one is Halcyon House. Second to none. The support Halcyon House gave me is still ongoing. The next one is I said the NASDAQ Entrepreneurial Center, the Halcyon House, and then Gather International, which is a program for people who have disabilities. It's an amazing accelerator. And last but not least, I know I said 3, but I'm going to give you 4. Please be patient with me. God is not through with me yet. But anyway, let me focus. And so number 4, it would have to be a man by the name of Olin Douglas. He has been an amazing supporter, not only financially, but also just a sounding board, and just an amazing guy. And okay, 5. This is it. I really do promise. The National Disability Institute. They will connect you to so many amazing people, and their follow through game is second to none. They follow through. And so those are the programs that has helped me over the hump. And we will go with Dr. Sam first, Mariah second, and then Stephanie third. All right, let's go, Dr. Sam.
I had one of yours on my list too. So 2GI, Together International, they're just like awesome sauce. They're phenomenal. I did their accelerator. That was wonderful. And just all the events they put on. They also offer a ton of programming for entrepreneurs with disabilities, access to funding. They've made introductions to investors who have invested in us, which is just, it's so 3, 5 thumbs up for them. The other is NSF, the National Science Foundation. If you're a techie startup, they are also, they have been in the JuneBrain house from day one, whether it came to funding or even just talking to my program officer for advice. But really, they provided all the funding that has got us to where we are today, the majority of it, including customer discovery, which is really important. And then the last one, I say the biggest help for myself and my team have been our advisors and our current investors. They are like, our investors are also advisors. So they're there at the drop of a hat if we need to ask questions, or they'll take a phone call or do weekly meetings with us, whatever it is to support our mission. So they're awesome.
Thank you. Stephanie?
Did you see me exhale? I inhale.
I did.
Because I don't have any financial backers, but I have incredible advisors that help me so much with just understanding technology, understanding where I'm going. And they are just so free with their knowledge. They all happen to be women from what's deemed marginalized populations, and so they're not gatekeeping. They're just like, do this, because I was like, can I call myself a tech company? They're like, don't let people gatekeep. This is who you are. Do this. And to me, although cash flow is really important, their support has been just, I wouldn't even know half the things that I know about this process without them. 2GI is great as well. Together International, just the support. That's how I met Ruby, by the way. And I was also part of their accelerator last fall. And I think the thing that gave me was the focus as, and this is going to sound so bad, but I'm going to say it anyway. It gave me the focus as a founder to focus on fundraising because I'm a social entrepreneur at heart. I'm in the community, I'm helping people. And then you look up and go, oh, I can't keep spending my money for my company. So I guess I got to raise some money in order to do this. And unlike my colleagues also on the panel, fashion is considered something that is not important for disability. It's often dismissed as, oh, we've got medication to get, we've got that to get. So people overlook that it is literally an activity of daily living. It determines, in my mind, if someone is independent or not, being able to take care of themselves. Getting dressed is a big deal. Clothing for getting dressed is a big deal. It acts as an assistive device for people to have that independence. And so now that I'm focused, and I'm not kidding, thanks to 2GI, you guys are very helpful. They were very helpful in getting me focused on that. That's what I'm focused on now, finding really strong partners that are willing to put their money where their mouth is in order to help us move forward and really just disrupt what's happening right now in e-commerce.
I would recommend you contacting Dr. Sam and like Mariah, because they have like fundraise. So like they know like all of the SEC applications, all of that, what you will have to do to be able to raise money. And so I would like reach out soon, because like you have to do that SEC stuff, and that could be a pain.
Okay.
That could be a pain. And so I will shut up now and go to Mariah. Let's go, Mariah.
Yes, and we'll give that caveat that I've fundraised. I did like a family and friends round, still doing like my pre-seed round and going through the process, but definitely happy to share any information. And I also really am like passionate about applying for grants. But I would say that some of the things have already been said, such as Halcyon and Together International. You can tell where we might have all met. But I'll add some new resources just to throw some new things out there. And NDI is also great. Shout out to National Disability Institute. But the three I'll name is one, locally, I'm located in DC. And so there's DC specific grants, and I would advise anybody, whatever locality you're in, look into local grants, because that can be a great place to start. And so one that supported me, or program rather, is Entrepreneurship Development Network of DC. It's also EDN DC, but they're a collaboration between Howard University, George Washington University, and American University. And they're not specific to any industry. So it's very agnostic. There was people in the fashion space, the nonprofit and the for-profit, but they help you with customer discovery, and also just doing introductions into your local area and providing you with a mentor. So that was really helpful for me. I would also say my second resource, or person that's I'm really appreciative, is the organization General Assembly. They are a design school, and we actually partnered with them with building out some of our early prototypes, and also doing market research as well as customer discovery. And it was exciting, but our first few employees actually ended up being students that were fellows through that program. And then we ended up being able to hire them on afterwards. And then the last one I would share would be the Inglis Foundation, and that's INGLIS Foundation. We were introduced to them through Together International, but they have a $10,000 grant that they give out to disability focused organizations, or rather companies. They have a pitch competition that they do each year. And the first year was last year, and we actually were able to receive that funding from them, and also go to their, thank you, and go to their conference and really meet a lot of organizations that were interested in posting jobs on our platform, and also meet other founders who have been awarded the grant. So those are the three I would say that have been really helpful for me. I think people say it a lot, but your network is your net worth. Networking definitely has helped. Just even if it's not someone directly providing funds, they may be an introduction to the next resource that you need. So that's been amazing too. And definitely shout out to universities for providing fellows and interns, and that
Yes.
was getting us started.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. So my next question, what has been your biggest accomplishment yet? And we will go with Mariah, Dr. Sam, and then Stephanie. Your biggest, it could be anything. All right. So you ready? Let's go.
Oh, I'm like, Ruby put me in the hot seat for real. I would say it's difficult to narrow it down, but I would say like a big accomplishment for me was last year, we were listed in the Washington Business Journal as one of the top 10 startups to watch. And that same year, just 2 months after the article came out, we came out with our product. And we had paying customers, and we're really being able to just get real feedback from our users, whether it's the free side, which is job seekers, or the B2B side, other businesses. So that was something I was really proud of. And also last year, we received an award from the Developmental Disabilities Council for doing innovation and technology for people with disabilities. So I would say that last year, those were things I was really proud of, and just to see how far we had come.
Congratulations. Yes, yes, and yes. All right, Dr. Sam, you are up next.
Yeah, and congratulations. That's really cool. So I'd say I guess everything around funding. So I'd say our biggest accomplishment is we've officially surpassed raising $1 million from investors, which was
Let's go. Let's go.
And we've raised over 2 million from grants. And I think the combination is like diversifying your capital streams. Having a little bit of both has helped us to survive some pretty rough fundraising moments, years. Last year was really tough fundraising for startups. But having that combination, I think, is one of my biggest accomplishments, because our team has been able to keep making progress and doing good work even during rough times.
That is massive, because Black women usually do not raise $1 million. It like really is a small club, which is really unfortunate. It shouldn't be, but it is. And so congratulations. That is massive, super dope. $3 million raised. Can I borrow $20? We'll talk after this. All right, Stephanie, what is your biggest accomplishment thus far?
Well, I want to congratulate Mariah and Dr. Sam. That's really
Yes.
great. That's really great. Or nickname June. I heard that conversation before we got started. So my accomplishment, just for someone born with a disability that's been in this space so long, was being added to the Business of Fashion BOF 500, moving the global fashion industry forward. That's a huge accomplishment for someone in general, in my opinion. But it's a real honor, and it's really helped me connect a lot of the fashion dots per se. Meeting so many different people, being added to that list as someone with a disability, helping this sector of the industry, or how people see me helping a certain sector. In my mind, like Mariah said earlier, I think human-centric or human-centered design. So disability in my mind equals innovation. So being added to that list has really helped open doors and articles, but that's not my greatest accomplishment. My greatest accomplishment is when I go into a store with someone with a disability and they don't think they can wear a certain shoe. They don't think that they can put something on. And then we just try. I have to take tissue, water, we have to get through the process. But the moment when they realize that, oh my God, I can do this. I have choices. I don't have to wait until the fashion industry catches up. That for me doesn't have a specific name to it, except watching my work directly impact someone's life so quickly. It's such a quick turnaround as a stylist. It just, there's nothing like that. There's nothing that I can compare to that.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. So I'm going to give the audience just a couple of minutes to like think of questions they may have for our next question. And so here goes this question. This is Black History Month, right? So tell me three black people you will be celebrating this year and why. And so Mariah's shaking her head, so we're just gonna go with her first. Stephanie gave a little smile, so we're gonna go with her second. Dr. Sam said, maybe go with me last. So that's how we're gonna do that. So Mariah's first, Stephanie's second, and Dr. Sam is last. So three amazing Black people you will be celebrating this year, because we go beyond a month, right? We like celebrate Black just excellence 366 days, because this is a leap year, baby. But ordinarily it's 365 days. So Mariah, let's go. Three Black people you will be celebrating this year.
Yeah, and I also love what you were saying. I thought of the Whitney Houston, Bobby Brown video where they say we need a longer month. So
Yeah.
I'm a big proponent of that. But I would say number one, Arlen Hamilton. Arlen Hamilton created her own venture capital studio called Backstage Capital. And more than that, she wrote the book, It's About Damn Time, just demystifying the startup world. I read that book for free from my public library on audiobook. And that actually made me realize that I could start a tech company. So I just really want to tip my hat to Arlen Hamilton, also their Black woman who identifies as LGBTQ and just opens up a lot of spaces and has put funding into a lot of other Black-owned businesses. And I think that's a mantra or a vision I have for myself, lifting as we climb. As I learn this journey, I don't want to gatekeep. I want to share that information with the group coming behind me. And I hope someone's sharing it with me as I come on my journey. Number two, I would say Harriet Tubman. I know that's a name that we hear a lot, but I don't think people really think about the fact that Harriet Tubman was also a Black disabled woman. She dealt with what now I think we would classify as experiencing epilepsy and maybe even like a traumatic brain issue. And she helped others to liberate themselves quite literally through the Underground Railroad, but also was like a naturopath, knew a lot about the herbs in the forest. And I'm really passionate about gardening and things like that in my free time. So I also just think that's dope that she was liberating others and she was just healing on the land. And then my third person, oh, that's so tough, but I think that I would have to say, I was going to say another name that is probably well known, but I will say my grandmother. My grandmother's name is Natalie Lindsay. And she was probably could have been a doctor, but because of the time she grew up in, was a Black nurse that trained other nurses in Virginia and was always telling me when she was alive about keeping my head held high And she was big, she helped to desegregate schools in Virginia. And I think it's just important that we also think about our family lineage. When we talk about Black history, we uplift a lot of the same names sometimes. And so she's one of my ancestors that I'm just like, stay with me, girl. Dr. Sam said she's definitely on my cap table, definitely on my board of directors. I know she's guided my journey. And so yeah, that's another person who didn't let other people's limitations that they put on her stop her from moving forward and making a name for herself and her family.
Thank you so much. Super dope. All right. Stephanie, you're up.
Arlen was on my list, so thank you, because I've read It's About Damn Time too, and that was, I just loved how she made me question how I normally do things. So thank you. And my other is Zora Neale Hurston. For me, I am a huge fan of the Harlem Renaissance. So
Yes.
I'm always reading, from different creators. But Zora, for me, stood out. I've been thinking about Zora at the beginning of the month as we start thinking about it, and like highlighting different people, just because of her refusal to just be what people wanted her to be, her refusal to not be innovative. Like she just did it. And she came up against obstacles like most of us do, but for her, she did the unexpected, and she created in a way that for me was profound, just because even in her own community, there were people that didn't appreciate what she was writing and how she was writing it. They had a problem with it not being elevated enough at times. So I just really appreciate that. And then Judith Jameson, for me, always, 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 always choreographer, dancer, Alvin Ailey. That for me stands out because even though I was born and was told I wouldn't ambulate independently, and I was born without all of my digits on my feet, I love dance. And when I think about Cry, and when I think about, other pieces from Ailey that she used to perform that are still beautifully performed today, it just reminds me of doing something that I love that is outside of my work. Dance is the one thing that I can do that I don't think about anything else. It's my, between prayer, dance, words with friends. Those are my ways to still live during this founder's journey, if that makes sense. Because we've got to have that balance of things that bring us joy. And so
Yes.
those are my people.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Dr. Sam, last but never least. Let's go.
I'd say my first one is Patricia Bath. So she was an ophthalmologist, and she really was a first in so many different ways in that field. But what I really love about her, and this, I guess, is a theme in our community, she translated all of that inventorship and knowledge to humanitarianism. So she did a ton of work when it came to like providing eye care access to communities that didn't have very good access to healthcare. And I think she founded one of the foundations for preventing blindness in LA. She did a ton of awesome work. And the other one is Mae Jemison. So I know we always know of her as, the first Black woman to go to space, which is already epic enough, but she also had, a whole life, her whole life around that has been really awesome. So, she's a Stanford alumni, which is my home school base. So I love her for that. But she also went to medical school first. That's something I didn't know about her for a long time. And she worked with the Peace Corps for a while to help caring for a lot of the volunteers. And then even after she finished her career as an astronaut, she wrote children's books. And I just love that whole roundedness about her. It's something I would love to do. Like after JuneBrain, I don't think I'll do another startup. I probably want to go and join a pop orchestra or something like that. And I just love seeing a Black woman who like does those, you know, she has a lot of different aspects to her. And then the last one I would say is Julius Williams. He's a friend of my family, but he's a conductor, a really awesome conductor in Boston right now. And he does classical music. I'm a classical pianist, so I love seeing, you know, a brown person doing his thing in jazz and classical music and all of that. So I think he should be celebrated. He already is. He should be celebrated even more.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. You all mentioned some super dope people, and I greatly appreciate each and every one of you. Are there any questions from the audience? Stephanie, thank you so much. We greatly appreciate your work, story, and your love for our community. Peace and blessings.
Thank you. Bye.
If there was a question, go ahead and shoot it in the chat box, and Lexi will like tell us what like the question is. But let me say this: these like dynamic women, right? It's not over yet. We have 5 more minutes. I see people are just jumping off. Give us 5 more minutes and then you can leave. Being a founder is very difficult. And then to be a founder with a disability is even more difficult. People will not say whether or not they have a disability. These amazing founders do. So like, I want to say congratulations, because people like judge us and underestimate us always, but we still show up as ourselves, being proud of our disabilities. We did have a question. Lexi, did you see it so that we can ask the panelists before they
did.
go?
So I see 2 questions in the chat. Oh, where did it go? So the first one was, I'm here with 4 young adults with disabilities who are about to join the workforce. What advice would you give them?
Okay, Dr. Sam, and then Mariah, y'all can both hit it.
That's exciting, first of all. Oh wow, yeah, the world is their oyster. It's a big oyster. I would say it's really important. So one thing that I've learned over the years is understanding my strengths and weaknesses. And weaknesses not in a negative way, but understanding, you know, these are my strengths. So I look for opportunities for myself where my strengths are a great fit and my interests too. And when it comes to any limitations I have, making sure it's a good environment that's supportive for those things. Or I can surround myself with people who fill in where I have limitations. So going into the workforce, kind of a good way to figure out where those places are. Definitely internships is a great start, and I think that's the most obvious one, but also informational interviews. I used to find that very helpful. Just calling someone who's in a place where you would like to be, whether it's in a year or 5 years from now, someone who has the career that you're thinking of having, and just ask for 15, 30 minutes of their time and just ask them a ton load of questions about, you know, what is their day-to-day like? And especially if you can find someone who has a disability or who has a similar disability to yourself to understand how they navigate that career space. That's very valuable information, a great place to start.
Echoing everything that Dr. Sam said, I would also say make sure that you have a mentor. It can be someone from school, it can be someone from your program, but throughout my career, whether it was in the beginning, the middle, or wherever I find myself now, I don't really quite know. I guess we're still in the middle. It's always great to be able to talk to those trusted mentors that are either in your field further along, share identities with you, or maybe even don't share identities with you and can give you insights and encouragement. And in some cases, my mentors have given me employment, and they've been a source of jobs, or they've been able to let me tap into their network. Another thing I would say is part two, I guess, is what Dr. Sam was saying. You really have to be thinking about the culture of an organization. It is okay for you to also be interviewing and asking questions during your own interview for the job. What I mean by that is really asking about, hey, have you ever had someone with low vision to work here? Or, is there a mentorship program that you provide for up and coming employees? Is there opportunities for growth here? Really, when they ask you, do you have any questions? Make sure you've already thought about what's important to you, because there can be traumatization and things that happen in the workforce. I don't want to scare you, but I also want to make sure you're going into an affirming environment. Definitely check out Invisible Strengths to get posted on our job board, but there's also other job boards out there where you can look for, women led businesses, or just whatever kind of organization you're looking for. The third tip I would give is JAN, or Job Accommodations Network. That's actually what's behind our algorithm on Invisible Strengths. It's a free website that shows accommodations that are being utilized right now in the workforce. So I know just because I'm diagnosed with something, that doesn't mean necessarily you're familiar with the accommodations that go along with it. So for example, for someone who might be hard of hearing, they have on Job Accommodations Network, you type in your condition and it will show you accommodations that may be helpful to you and has helped other people with the similar condition. So it might say sign language interpreter or closed captioning on all meetings, and that will give you an idea of what you might want to request going in to your role, because a lot of times the workplace may not be completely aware of what supports you need, and you may not be aware of the supports you need. So it can give you a place to start of thinking through, okay, that I think that would be helpful for me. But good luck, and you're gonna do great.
And do not forget about OVR. They can help. They can help you. They can also give you a coach to help with the disability income limits. You really need to look into, especially with starting a business, a trust fund. You can have a disability trust fund where the money goes into that. And so, which would not impact your disability income. And so there are ways, and I'm just being really quick with that, but there are ways around it that are legal. It is not illegal. These are legal ways. And so that is it. Thank you so much, Nikki, Alexis, Caroline, for saying yes to this amazing event.
And thank you,
Over to you,
Ruby,
Nikki.
and our speakers so much. I wanted to answer one question I saw in the chat. We will be sending out all the contact information for the speakers and all of the links that were shared in the chat by email to everyone who registered for the webinar. So please don't worry if you missed any as they zoom by. We'll collect them all up and we'll send them out to everybody in the next few days. And now, Nikki, you can take us home.
Okay, great. Ladies, thank you so much. I am just blown away by the stories, the insights, all of the sharing that you've done. And thank you so much for being so transparent and sharing with our audience your journeys. And the energy is amazing. I mean, Ruby, every time I talk to you, you make me just jump up and down with energy because you're just always so positive and upbeat, and collectively that has just been fantastic. Can we go to the next slide then, Lexi? I just want to share, National Disability Institute. Oh, here you go. You've got Mariah's information. So we've got slides with information for everybody that's been speaking. But as Lexi said, you'll get all of this in an email. It'll go out to all registrants. So lots of information coming soon. So be looking out for that. We've got some upcoming other webinars. One of the things is through XM, and that is the import-export division of the federal government, where they have an amazing amount of support if you want to take your business globally, and talk to you about how to really go about exporting goods and services. So that's coming up, a series starting in March. And some of the stuff that we offer as the Small Business Hub with National Disability Institute, definitely go check out our website. Again, you don't have to try and keep these. All these links are going to come to you, or you can send our navigator, Ruth, an email if you want some one-on-one consultation, you want some support. We also do have a streaming television channel that is available on Roku, Apple, Fire TV, on the app stores, and also on the web. That is full of fantastic content and a lot of other storytelling as well from some amazing entrepreneurs. So feel free to go visit that. And then if you want to get any other sort of training mentorship, we also partner with Verizon with their new platform that is for entrepreneurs. So you can go check that out. And if you're not on our mailing list and you don't get our newsletter, then sign up for our mailing list, because there is so many great things coming that you can tap into. So with that, that is kind of it from us. Here is our small business team here at NDI. We are a small but mighty team of myself, Ruth, Caroline, and Lexi. And we are just here to really help and support those that are trying to either navigate this journey for the first time into entrepreneurship, or if you've got an established business and you really want to try and grow. And as you've seen, we have partners and networks with some amazing other small businesses. So just here to help. And with that, I think we are about done, right, Lexi?
I think that wraps it up. Thank you, everyone, so much for joining us and helping to celebrate these amazing founders and entrepreneurs. Ruby, any final words before we close out?
Yes. You deserve joy and wealth. I deserve joy and wealth. We all deserve joy and wealth. Peace and blessings to you all.
Thanks, everyone. Bye.
Thank you.